So we are here in Lisbon for World Aviation Festival, and I'm joined here by Thomas Hoff Andersson, who is Managing Director and Chief Operations Officer of Berlin Brandenburg Airport. So Thomas, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure being here. Thank you.
So firstly, it's been a year since we've spoken at the previous World Aviation Festival. How has business been for you over the summer in terms of passenger numbers and operations?
I think business has been stable. It's been all right, I would say. We've had a good check-in process. We've had a good performance in security. We've had good performance in passport control, immigration. We haven't had the same issues we saw last summer with rush baggage. The issue we are still struggling with for certain days is long delivery times of baggage. But I think besides that, it's been a good summer for us.
And in terms of passenger numbers compared to last summer, how has that been? Has it been more than last summer?
We're looking for this year at a 15% growth compared to 2022, so it's all right.
That's great news. Great to hear. So in terms of the passengers that you are seeing, are there any particular passenger trends that you're observing in what they're looking for and expect from you as an airport?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is really the Berlin passengers, our guests, they're really embracing our new digital offers, and that's really nice to see. We have been able in 1 year to double the share of passengers doing self-service check-in and back drop, so that's really nice for us, and hopefully also for the passengers, saving millions of waiting times in queues. So I would say that's nice. We have launched also a new biometric way of traveling through the airport, which is very exciting. We're learning a lot, and we see a positive response from the passengers as well.
That's great to hear that there's an appetite for technology among your passengers, and we'll touch upon the biometrics or the facial recognition in a few questions' time. But firstly, congratulations for being shortlisted in the International Airport Review Airport Honour Awards under the innovation category. So what innovation projects are you currently working on that you're particularly excited about?
So I think first of all is scaling the biometric solution. I think that's something most airports struggle with. What I see from other airports is that you do biometrics on one specific route, or you do it in a special segment, or you do it for a certain airline, and that's really that's what I'm looking forward to. How can we scale this and make it a commodity for all airlines, all passengers? Just an hour ago, more or less, we sent out a press release that we will do the first full-scale implementation of AI-managed turnarounds in Europe. That's also really exciting. But as always, implementing technology, buying technology, that's only the first step. Second step is obviously changing and changing the way we work, getting people on board on the change management journey.
Sounds like a really exciting project, and to be the first in Europe as well is very exciting, so congratulations on that. So many airports have been affected by strikes recently. How are you working to ensure that airport operations are not impacted too much by this?
Yeah, so I think we had our fair share in 23. What we always do is, we try to have an open and transparent dialogue. We try as much as possible to give passengers heads up as soon as possible in order for them to make other arrangements. I think there's nothing worse coming to the airport not knowing anything, and then you get the news there. So we try to come across with the bad information as soon as possible, ideally 48 hours before, so the airlines can reschedule, they can rebook, or the passengers can find other means of transportations to get to their destination.
So keeping them informed as much as possible. So you recently introduced BER Traveller this summer for facial recognition. How does this work? Who owns the data, and how do you ensure privacy by design?
Yeah, we have done this in a close cooperation with a company called Fast ID and in a close cooperation with the Lufthansa Group. We're doing a proof of concept for 12 months to learn, but also to add new interesting services for the passengers. The first phase has been a dedicated group, the Lufthansa premium passengers, their Huns and their senators, in the Miles and More program. They have been invited for the first 6 months to participate, and The difference is, I mean, biometrics as such is not new. India is quite far with the Digiyatra. You see other airports trialing for specific departures as well, but it's very often based on a central database where the passengers shares or give consent to share data to a central database. That's always a sensible topic, especially in the European Union, for data protection officers, for GDPR, and for various reasons. But the way we have done it, and I really think that's a disruptive way of doing it, is the passenger still owns the data. There is no sharing of data between the passenger and the airport or the airline. What we have done as an airport, we have made the integration with our Cabadoma gates, meaning that we can now, with one click, basically enable the next airline and the next airline to be part of it. So that's why, from an airport point of view, we're not necessarily depending on the integration with all the airlines, airline by airline. We can control that ourselves, and that's why we will, very soon, we will complete the full journey from taxi to sitting in the aircraft, where your face is your boarding pass. That I call the full vertical integration. But we will also do a full horizontal integration, meaning that our entire security checkpoint will be enabled for all the passengers to use the biometrics at Berlin Airport. I think that's a worldwide first, to be honest, and a very innovative way of coming across the data protection issue, but also keeping the investments at a fair point for an airport.
And in terms of biometric gates, how much labour hours does it actually save an airport? Is it a huge saving, or do you still have someone there to supervise?
So I think for the passenger, the saving is not really there in terms of time, because it's really fast also to take your mobile boarding pass and beep it. That's also very fast. We might potentially be adding a split second to the process because you have a camera screening or recognizing the passenger. I think it adds a layer of security, because at our security checkpoint today, we basically only check if a person has a valid boarding pass. There is no identity check. With our biometric solution, we add that layer, so it not only secures that you would have a ticket, but it also secures that Holly is Holly. And I think that's something new in the whole security checkpoint part. For the passengers, I think it's a convenience part. Sometimes people travel with bags or roller bags, and not having to take out your phone. That's a convenience thing. And I also think many passengers like being recognized. So we have the opportunity to add more checkpoints. First thing we will add now is the self-service kiosk, where you would have your boarding pass printed. Then next phase, we already have the security checkpoint, and the third phase would be the boarding onto the aircraft.
Now, how are you working to ensure BER's operations are more sustainable in the future?
I think a very important topic. As you know, Berlin is one of the centers for climate activists, meaning that if you take the message that we have to take care of our planet, we fully support that. We're also very much exploring new technology. How can we change from basically brown energy creation to a more sustainable way with geothermal, with solar, with water, with wind, and so on, trying to replace the current energy sources with more sustainable. We're working with the joint expertise in the capital region of Germany to see how can this be done in a very in a phased way, because it's also very heavy investments, I think. But it's not a question of if we will do it, we will do it because we have to do it. I think that will be our license to operate. It is probably already. In terms of more practical solutions, we're working very close with the ground handling companies in order to encourage the transition from diesel to hybrid or electrical gear. I think that will also contribute. So we're looking at the full scope to make this transition and contribute to a more sustainable traveling going forward.
And what is keeping you awake at night? And then also, what are you most looking forward to this year?
Yeah, so quite honestly, it's the restaurant across the street that's keeping me awake. But no, actually, I'm super excited about all of the digital initiatives we're implementing at BR. We have the fastest virtual queuing to reach a million bookings with the BR runway. We have the first biometric solution where the passenger is in full control of the data. We have now signed a contract with the SIA to implement a fully AI managed turnaround process. So I think that's 3 very, very exciting initiatives for us. I think in the end, what we need to do is still work on our community to be even more customer centric, to be, like I said a year ago, we have to love our guests. And I think that is really a key issue for us. We can invest in all the technology, still we need to combine it with equal professionalism of our staff and our colleagues and our partners.
Thomas, that was my final question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.